Hey everyone, Sarah here. Welcome back for an afternoon video, Questran in hand. I'm filming this in April. Who knows when I'll get it out, but I wanted to take a moment just looking at the first few months of the year, or the first quarter of the year, but that sounds very businessy. And I made myself up some little titles similar to that video I shared just after I kind of jumped back in, wherever that one is. You know the one I'm talking about, the kind of pause, penmanship, that type of thing. I pulled out some different notebooks as well in case I wanted to reference them, but that is it for a intro. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 different titles, and there's a little bit of ink swatching in there that we can do as well. I've pulled out some pens, etc. So I'll just kind of jump in, and I've just been keeping that there because it's been moving a little bit. So this was the first title that I used at the beginning of the year, penship instead of penmanship, talking about pen friendship. And for me, this has been just the best reason to get back in to videos and connecting with people and everything else. So I was able to go to the Melbourne Pen Posse meetup in January, February and March, which is pretty cool. I've been able to do 2 sip and swatch videos with other people. And I'm actually about to do another one with Maria, which I'm really excited about. And it's just been so much fun. I think Maria and we were on like Zoom together for like close to 4 hours or something wild. But it's just an amazing, way to connect. And I almost want to write this one in another color because, maybe 2 more. I've been able to keep up with some letter writing. I want to say keep up with connection or with connecting. I don't know why I started writing on an angle there. That's annoying. The last one, I have to think about how I want to really phrase this. Let's make a, come on, I know there's ink in there. After I filmed the video with those titles and I spoke about a wish list and talking about an Esterbrook. Oh, sorry, I'm just banging everything. I'm just crossing my legs. Who I'll now call a pen friend, reached out to me and sent me the most generous gift. And since then, we've written a letter back and forth and emailed a little bit. And what I'm wanting to capture is, like, I feel confident to call her my pen friend now. But as I've learnt, it's only a couple months old, but as I've learnt little bits about her life, I've actually learnt a lot, like just in general. And she's incredibly non-judgmental and I feel patient. I have had an email response sitting in my draft to send back to her for 4 days. She doesn't seem to mind. But her generosity and some of the subsequent conversations since and some things that I've learnt from her as two people on different sides of the world, but who are, I guess, observers in nature and very reflective. It's been really impactful. So I just want to, in a different color, I guess, want to just highlight my pen and I don't know. I hope you're okay me calling you my pen friend. I think we're pen friends. It's just been just what I want. Maybe I'm just going to leave it like that. She's just had impact in some of the things she's shared or written, and the generosity part of me that started it all. And I like seeing if she pops up on Discord or anything else. She, I guess, just encapsulates, if I reflect on the first chunk of the year and how I wanted to focus on pen friendship, she embodies that for me. So different color, because I feel like it deserves to stand out. She deserves to stand out. Next up is just a little bit, I guess, about my channel. This is probably more reflecting for me than for you guys, but I've been able to post pretty consistently, I feel. And I had a look, so in January, Feb. This is Troublemaker Sepia Hour. I did a lucky dip for what I was going to fill it with, and very happy with the ink that came out. So I was able to do 8 videos in Jan, 10 in March, and 8 again in, 10 in Feb and 8 again in March. I'm trying to do like 2 a week without putting lots of stress on myself. The most popular, quote unquote, video of this year, and I'm putting it in brackets, just the one that had the most views was my Feb, currently inked. My favorite video, I think I still just love. I love my chroma, doing my ink swatching. Yeah, I think they're my favorite videos. And and like pen kind of like deep dives, like the video kind of looking at the vintage pen collection. I don't think it was really watched by anyone, but I loved filming it. Down here, I just because, so my subs, interestingly, well, I should do it that way, really actually hasn't grown much. I'm sitting at 769. I want it to grow because I can connect with more people. I also want it to grow because if I get to a milestone, I really like my idea of like a 1,000 sub giveaway, of like creating something for someone to give to someone starting the hobby, like a bunch of like beginner pens and some ink. Like I think that could be a really awesome idea. And then maybe it's 2 giveaways. One then for someone as well. But I really like that aspect of my idea, and I'd really love to do that. And I guess, if at some point ever this video gets to a point where it can make a bit of income, then I can explore more and I don't know, I'd almost want to use that for like, I don't know, I had no idea how much you earn from YouTube, but the idea of being able to like do giveaways around bringing people into the hobby, like that would be that would be so amazing if like a few times a year I could do that. Obviously I have no control, the person can keep it for themselves, but I just think it could be a really great idea. I like it anyway. I had a look, let's do a squiggle, 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 and I'll do one up here as well. Holding my pen in a weird way there. So who am I hanging out with? YouTube Studio tells me that 88% are female, 88% chickadees, and 26%, which was the main amount, are from the USA, followed by 1.6% in the UK, and then Australia, which I just found interesting given I am Australian, was less than 1%. Now, I don't know, people might not have their YouTube tied to their locations and things like that. I honestly would have thought more people in Australia, but that's all good. So hi to everyone in the US. Stay safe, please. It's cray cray. So that is that aspect of it. The next bit is I've pulled out the inks that I've really loved this year, and I'll talk about the pens also. But I thought I might do this one next because that'll take longer to dry. What I've loved learning about, it's just going to be two things, but really it's one thing. And so I'm not even going to do a arrow. I'm just going to say I have loved learning about vintage pens. That's it. Like it has been such an enjoyable little, I don't even want to call it, it's not homework or project or whatever, but, and look, the other learning I've done in here I've really enjoyed as well, but I'm slowly filling up. It's something that I don't touch every day. Sometimes I get inspired and then I can leave it for a few weeks, but just learning about the history of different brands. But the reason I've stayed on vintage pens there is that's kind of what drives it. I have then done some modern research as well, but I feel like when this book is finished, I'm so excited for everything it's gonna know in there. Ooh, that wasn't me crying, that was me thinking I'm gonna cough. Which I did. So look, TWSBI, so that's going more modern. I think next I'm in the middle of just researching, that's Parker Robert Oster. I've only done that first page, but I have loved learning about vintage pens so much, and I do love learning about vintage more than the modern, but I want this to be a mixture of everything. But vintage pens, oh my God, have been just loving learning about the histories and the inventions and just all of it, everything, all of the above. And then coming back to the what I've loved, I'll zoom in a little bit there. So I did 6 little things here for 6 inks, like I guess that I've really been loving so far, the first few months of the year. But I also then pulled out 6 pens. And kind of in different categories. This Hongdian, I'd say, is my favorite AliExpress pen. Pretty close tie with the Huil Pico. Like, hard decision, but it has a super fine line and I love how it feels in the hand. I cheated a little bit so I could get both of these in. I've put this one, the Parker Lady Duofold, as my favorite pocket pen. So then I could include this Omas that I've been writing with as my favorite vintage. But the Lady Duofold 14 karat in black tipped jade, 1926, just my most prized possession, really. Such a beautiful pen. And then as you've seen as I've been writing, this Omas is, the bounce is just absolutely gorgeous. Then these three, my favorite specialty nib category or just non-standard nib would be the Pilot Custom 912, and it's the FA nib. Just a classic, beautiful pen, and the nib is just gorgeous. And then I didn't know how I wanted to include both of these. And I know people talk about like everyday writers and things like that. And I don't really use that term because I like using all of my pens, but for wanting to be able to keep going with this category, I've kind of put them into my favorite everyday writer pen would be the Kakamori Frost in amber with the fine nib. Just love this. I really want one in each color. And then this one I've created a category for, and it's just my favorite and what I love most in terms of sentimentality. So the pen that means the most to me at the moment, and that would be the Esterbrook Estie, which was gifted to me from the pen friend I spoke about on that first page. So they're pens that I've really been, also love how it writes, just to be clear, not just because of how I got it, but it's such a beautiful pen. Sorry, I keep knocking things today. Such a beautiful pen. Just, loving all of it. Ink-wise, I've chosen 6. I kind of wanted to include one just because I love its name so much, but I was like, no, that's not the point of this. Be interesting if anyone could guess. For me, this one is no surprise. No surprise at all. And that is Diamine from the music series Wagner. I wonder if I want to write them all in black. No, do you know what I'll do? I'm going to just, instead of using my other one, I'm just going to use this little guy. It's just so I can I didn't think it all the way through. But this is this, for me, just represents my green happy place, leaning on that more olive green space. But I have enjoyed any time this has been in a pen. I've inked up my Parker with it multiple times. It is a match made in heaven. I love it. So that absolutely had to be there. The next one is another green, and it really surprised me, to be honest, how much I enjoy it. I didn't think I would, but I've had it inked, I think, in 2 different pens, and I've also done a little bit of kind of just like doodle arty playing around with it, and I dig it. I really love it, and I'm pretty surprised by it. It is Robert Oster Melbourne Tram Green, which was sent to me by a pen friend. I'm just surprised that I like something so bright and saturated, but I couldn't get it. I've probably 2/3 of that vial is gone, and she filled it all the way up. So that tells you how much I've used. Just everything about it, even like in different pens, it's flowed really nicely. So I guess a surprise love affair for me, but have just, yeah, digging this ink. Or maybe I'm just at halfway. Yeah, probably just at halfway. So there are those two. Probably also a bit surprised that I have two green inks in here. But I do. I actually realised I swapped some out so I could include my favourite name ink in here. So very mature I am. The next one is in the favourite category just because it just encapsulates for me everything that we love about like why we watch hours and hours of ink swatching videos, the way this shades and breaks apart and everything else. I am just amazed with every single time. It also looks really beautiful in a pen. I actually don't know if I've swatched it on this paper, so I don't know if we'll see all of it. Watch this space. If we don't, I can always pull out my other book because this ink to me is just incredible. It's Kitty Inkpot Elegy of the Fallen. And as I said, like I like the color it goes down with. With this nib, you're not going to see all of that chroma shading, but in pens that have a wider nib, you do get all of it, and you get bits of brown and orange and green and blue. I almost want to grab, it's right in front of me, because on the Tomoe River, it just went bonkers. I feel like I'm saying bonkers a lot lately. Look at that. Look at that purple haze. Like, what is going on? That's just incredible. Not getting as much of the brightness on this Any Day Now paper, but absolutely, definitely in the favorites. I had a look to see if I could buy a bottle, and I can't, sold out at So & So. So don't know what will happen when that one runs out, but really, really love it. I think it's so beautiful, and just how much it can evoke, and how you can almost as like a jumping board, a springboard for different ink explorations. Like when people don't understand why we would sit and watch ink being swatched or do it, literally like all I want to do is just like show them that ink and be like, enough said. Like that just explains it. Next up, I wanted to put in this one. This one is relatively new to me, interestingly as well. Of the 6, 4 of them were all given to me in a really awesome happy mail from Eleanor. So do we think she knows my taste in ink? 100%. I can't do that math that quickly. 60% of the 4 out of 6 came from her, which is these 3, and then my favorite name one. I wanted to include an ink like the one that I've enjoyed the most of when I've wanted something black adjacent. This is a dark purple ink, but sometimes I do just want a more formal ink. And of the ones I've used in the first few months of the year, this one has been the one I've enjoyed the most. It's a Pen BBS ink. Am I going to be able to fit that in there? 566, and it's Blue Pink Spruce. Coming up now to the final 2. This one, I feel probably no surprise to anyone. I was going to have at least one burgundy in here, And of all the different burgundy adjacent inks I have used in the first 3 months, this is the one that I enjoyed the most. And it's actually an ink brand I reckon I want to get to know a bit more. It's Pannonia, and I love Greenfinch or Zoldyck, and this is Mustrovos, or young wine. So I feel like it's definitely an ink brand I want to look into more and try more of, because I mean, I love Zoldyck, and this was just such a pleasure to write with, and I just think it's such a beautiful color. Nice flow. Just a nice ink experience all the way around. Last but not least, literally, because I just think it's a great name, last but not least, because I do just think it's a great name. So it's the favorite name that I've come across, and this was the 4th one from Eleanor, and it's Kitty Inkpot's Biggie Cat Bottle. What a great name. And as I've said before, I will not break out into song, even though I want to. I love ink names. The little things I was doing in the Midori, I think the A7s, like kind of saying, you know, giving Chat GPT or Gemini, whichever one I was using, a little context, and just saying Biggie. I just put in Biggie Cat Bottle and see what it spat out at me. And I did I've completed 2 little books of that. I haven't actually done that in a while. I don't have any more A7 books, and I'm trying not to spend Biggie. So that is something, like maybe I could ask for some notebooks for my birthday, and I can keep doing that, because I just thought it was a fun little thing to do. But throughout Jan, Feb and March, these have been the inks. I'm just going to zoom out. These have been the inks that I've really enjoyed. Wagner from Diamine. Oh, gorgeous. The surprise for me was Robert Oster Melbourne Tram Green. That guy, Elegy, I think I said Elegy before, Elegy of the Fallen. Blue Pink Spruce, my favorite dark ink. Mustrovos. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then fantastic name. I mean, it's a nice looking ink too, but just a great name. So that's where I've landed, a few months back into posting videos, a few months doing a lot more ink exploration and everything else. I've loved this thing, the research. Oh, actually, one more love, because it has been new for me this year, has been using an A6 notebook. I had never really used A6 before. B6 has been my ultimate. I'd never really used A6, but I've really enjoyed swatching in it. What I've loved it for the most is my brain dump diary. So I won't scroll through it, but I'm actually on my 2nd one, and this is just my everything, life, grocery lists, all of it. And it's been the perfect size for that, and I've been using the Stalogy because it's chunky. So that's been another love, a new discovery, a new size notebook that I've been really enjoying. So there we have it. That is what I have, I guess, my thoughts and reflections on the first couple months of the year and how that relates to pen and ink for me. I mean, imagine that as a currently inked. Amazing. But I would love to know if you're new in the hobby, if you've been here for a long time, if you stepped back in, what have you discovered this year? Or even if you look back at your currently inked from Jan, Feb and March, what's been the standout? I would love to know. I'm always so interested in what people find works, doesn't work, etc., because then usually I want to try it. But there we have it. Thank you so much for hanging around with me. And I know I say that a lot at the end of videos, but it feels a little bit more pertinent in this one because this community has given me so much, and I really love and am grateful of being a part of it. And I hope you know that that's not disingenuous. It's really genuine. It's a really important part of my life, and I get a lot from it, and I love being able to explore and geek out on inks with you guys as well. So after that, that got a bit soppy, didn't it? But we'll leave it there. If you've had a favourite so far, let me know, and I will chat to you again soon. Bye.